Hello, I'm Chris, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. In this video, I'm talking about Bisch Mode fragrances. No, I didn't say Bisch Mode, we're going more niche than that. These are Bisch Mode fragrances from perfumer Quentin Bisch. Fortunately, he's created some amazing Bisch Mode fragrances and some of my favorite fragrances of all time. So, engage Bisch Mode. Everywhere you look, there's a Quentin Bisch fragrance. Half the new releases are Bisch fragrances. There will be a lot of your favorite perfumes that you probably didn't even know were created by Quentin Bisch. And Bisch don't just do niche, because he's also created some amazing, iconic designer fragrances, as you will see in this video. Speaking of iconic, legendary designer fragrances, this one is one of my favorites of all time. From Quentin Bisch, this is Wanted by Night. What a fragrance this is. It's spicy, there's a lot of cinnamon, it's fruity, there's some incense, there's even some tobacco and leather. Warm spices, a good dose of cinnamon, some beautiful rounded sweet fruity notes, a little hint of leather in there. What is not to like about this fragrance? Yes, it's a bit of a heavy hitter. It does have some darker notes in there, but it's not overall a dark, dense, complex fragrance. It's kind of a fun fragrance. This is a fragrance that I would choose to wear when I'm going to a fun event, or if I'm going on a night out. This would be a great sort of in a bar, night out, clubby fragrance, whatever you want to call those types of scents. Party fragrance. It's a party fragrance. Good vibes, liveliness, energy. This fragrance just really feels alive. But it is not too juvenile or youthful. Yes, it does have youthful qualities, fun qualities in there, but as well, it's got some notes that carry some weight, carry some gravitas with the tobacco, the leather, there's some vanilla. So it's got a bit of everything. This lasts so long on me. I would say this is one of my favorite Bisch Mode designer fragrances. This just does not die. Like I said, it's alive. Still, by a country mile, my favorite of Azzaro's Wanted fragrances. There's just a little bit of magic in this bottle here, and Quentin Bisch created it, so thank you for this Bisch Mode fragrance. I'm keeping it a little bit fruity with this next fragrance, a recent discovery from me. This is Niche Biche from Marc-Antoine Barrois. This is B683 Extract. It's got saffron, apple, oud, violet leaf, patchouli, cumin, sandalwood, pink pepper, and vanilla. The fruit component of this fragrance is a gorgeous green, sweet, crispy apple. And it is a very strong part of this fragrance. This is a fruity scent. Kind of like when you know when you open up a bag of Jelly Babies and you just get that rush of sweet fruitiness coming for you? Well, it's got that, but not just that, because it's got some heavier notes in there as well. There's oud, which is really providing this great contrast. It's not quite a strong, funky, fecal oud, because the sweetness and the fruitiness is rounding off those edges. So what you get is an oud that is just providing a lot of depth and a lot of firepower. It's also got a really nice bit of spicy punchiness coming from the pink pepper, a little bit of creamy sandalwood. So it is a beautifully round, sweet, bold fragrance. This is a recent discovery for me. I recently visited the Marc-Antoine Barrois store in London and went through the whole range of their fragrances. This one stood out to me as being my favorite of the line. They're all Quentin Bisch fragrances, and as many of you will know, the very popular Marc-Antoine Barrois fragrance is Ganymede. I thought that was fantastic, incredible fragrance. When I was choosing my favorite from the line, it was definitely between this one and the original Ganymede, because that is certainly Beast, Biche, Niche, or Beast, Niche, Biche, or Biche, Beast, Niche, Niche, Biche, Beast, Niche, Biche. Anyway, however you want to chop it up, this is a strong Quentin Bisch fragrance. The reason I picked this out as my favorite was I think it's a bit more wearable than Ganymede. Ganymede's perhaps a little more divisive. It is a sharper, stronger smell. This is more rounded, more wearable, a bit more mass appealing, but equally as statement making. Incredible Bisch Mode fragrance. More niche Biche now, and this is one I recently discovered in Milan in Italy this year from Bon Parfumeur. This is Myrshadow. It has notes of orange, blackcurrant leaf, grapefruit, cinnamon, basil, cypress, lots of myrrh, vanilla, benzoin, akigala wood, musk, patchouli, atlas cedar, and shadows. This is one of those fragrances that if you presented me with the notes and I hadn't smelled the fragrance, I wouldn't anticipate or predict that it smells quite like this. I actually don't really pick out any of those notes listed as dominant notes. I don't feel like the fragrance has been built around any of those notes. You would think it would be the myrrh or the shadow note, but myrrh is there, but it certainly doesn't smell like the main note, and it doesn't seem to have this overbearing presence at all. For me, this is a creamy, powdery, really addictive, indulgent, hugely likable fragrance. It's one of those niche Bisch fragrances that you can tell has complexity. It's got all this amazing engineering, maybe like a German car or a Swiss watch. It has incredibly precise and complex inner workings, but they have this body that surrounds them, which seems to just smooth everything off and create this gorgeous rounded profile. So it is smooth, it is really easy to wear, but you're aware that there's a lot going on underneath that smooth veneer. This is not necessarily beast mode in terms of its projection, but in terms of longevity, yes, it is. This lasts and lasts. One of the best fragrances I've smelled this year, and I feel like it's that good. This fragrance, Myrshadow, is probably gonna gain a bit of a fan following and become quite an iconic scent. Many of you will know this, but many of you might not know this, that Quentin Bisch has created a lot of the Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances. He's done the whole Scandal line, he's done all the Le Beaux, he's done some of the most recent La Mal fragrances, including the amazing La Mal Le Parfum. That is one of my favorite Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances. But he's also done the latest releases of La Mal Elixir and La Mal Elixir Absolute. Some of the listed notes in this are plum, cinnamon, cardamom, bergamot, lavender, tonka bean, benzoin, artemisia, and patchouli. So I'm holding up Elixir Absolute, but to me this smells very similar to the original La Mal Elixir. Both excellent fragrances. This one is listed as having tobacco and honey, but this one smells so similar that despite not having tobacco and honey listed, I feel like they must have used the same formula, so I'm sure there is some tobacco and honey in here. I might be wrong about that, but I'm just saying what I smell. The great thing about these La Mal Elixirs is they retain some of the identity of the original La Mal. There is that fingerprint of the artemisia, the lavender, the mint, but it's darker, it's smoother, it's more modern. This is a great modern interpretation of a La Mal fragrance. Darker, it's smoother, it's more modern smelling, it's more grown-up smelling. It is pretty strong and long-lasting. I'm not sure I would go into beast mode territory, but this one is definitely one of my favorite Bisch mode fragrances. Now these are definitely beast, Bisch, niche, because we're talking Amouage here. Quentin made the original Purpose, which in itself was a beast mode fragrance, but then he made an even stronger version called Purpose 50. It's got pimento, pink pepper, sandalwood, rose, akigala wood, suede, saffron, vanilla, and all the incense. This is such a beast. Definitely one you wouldn't want to overspray. It's a very strong smell. It's an amazing smell, but it is one of those smells like maybe Dior Sauvage Elixir doesn't smell like that, but if you spray that sparingly, it can smell amazing, but overspray it and it can get a little bit obnoxious. The same, I think, is the case with Purpose 50, is if you spray it 2 or 3 sprays, I think that would be enough. If you overspray this, it's gonna be just a bit abrasive up the nostrils of everybody around you, I think. But get the spray right on this and it is sensational. Powerful, statement making, tons of gravitas. It's gonna command attention. This is a real confidence inspiring, empowering perfume. Definitely has the fingerprints of Quentin Bisch all over it, because there were elements of this that definitely reminded me of Ganymede, and I think there are elements of Ganymede that are similar to Bois Imperial. So Quentin Bisch definitely has a style that he likes to use. Sometimes he doesn't only use that style, because there are plenty of Bisch fragrances that don't smell like that, but one that does also smell like this from Amouage was his next release, which was Decision. There are parts of Decision that really did remind me of Purpose. I feel like Quentin maybe has used a similar structure to build this fragrance, but there are some differences. The main one being, I think Decision is smoother, creamier, more rounded. I think it's more wearable for more people. Purpose is maybe a bit more creative, therefore a bit more divisive. More people, I think, will enjoy and get on with this fragrance. This is less of an issue to overspray because it doesn't have that abrasive nature. If you do put too much of it on, it stays smooth and quite sweet and creamy all the way through, but it still has the power of Purpose 50. This is definitely another Bisch Mode fragrance. There's definitely still a lot of incense, so this has heft, it has density. It is a statement maker, but a slightly more easygoing statement maker than Purpose 50. But these are both stunning fragrances. I feel like we've got Quentin Bisch operating on all cylinders with these fragrances. He's pulling out the stops. Amouage have given him free reign over the smell, over the ingredients, so he's put absolutely everything in. I feel like we're definitely seeing Quentin Bisch at the top of his game with these Amouage releases. Definitely Beast Bisch. Back to Designer Bisch now. This one is one of the best designer releases of recent times. It's a beautiful fragrance. From Gucci, it's Guilty Elixir. There's orange blossom, nutmeg, pimento seeds, orris, osmanthus, vanilla, benzoin, and patchouli. As great as this fragrance is, it's not complicated, and it doesn't need to be. Not every fragrance has to be complex. This is a very wearable, mass-appealing fragrance. In fact, I'd probably sum this up by saying creamy, powdery, white floral. Those three things should give you a pretty accurate indication of what this smells like. And not white floral in a feminine way at all. Think more of the white florals in something like Amouage Reflection Man. Somehow it manages to be this very soft, gentlemanly white floral. But this isn't just a creamy, soft white floral fragrance, because the spices in here really lift it and create this extra through line of masculinity. One of the best elixirs, one of the best recent designer fragrance releases, in my opinion, one of the best bottles. Beautiful scent. When it came to this one, Quentin really got the job done. Bish bash bosh. I've left possibly the best to last, or certainly I think my favorite till the last. You'll know if you've watched my channel for a number of years now. One of my favorite brands is Parfum de Marly, and my favorite fragrance from that brand is the remarkable Bisch Mode powerhouse that is Carlisle. Carlisle is spicy, fruity, creamy, dense, thick, rich, very powerful, long-lasting, and pretty addictive. People say that this smells like Mancera's red tobacco. Now, there isn't tobacco listed in this, and it does smell similar to red tobacco, which I believe came after this. So I can see the tobacco connection in this, and if someone told me there was tobacco in here, this sort of sweet, fruity, almost like a cherry tobacco, then I'd believe them, and maybe there is tobacco in here, it's just not listed. So definite fruity tobacco vibes, which of course I love. I associate Parfum de Marly with statement making fragrances, most very easy to wear, but they have a luxury quality to them. They have a heft, a density, a richness, luxury. And Carlisle is the perfect example of all the things I love about the brand. To me, this doesn't smell like any of the other Quentin Bisch fragrances. Yes, he has certain styles that he works with, but then he can go from designer to niche to very mass appealing and easy to wear to very creative. Carlisle sits somewhere in the middle of that. Very mass appealing and addictive and easy to wear, maybe even a little bit sweet and gourmand and dessert-like, but it has enough complexity and enough creativity. So it has this great balance of all these elements. I mean, it just ticks all the boxes for me, which is why it is one of my top 5 fragrances of all time. Bisch knocks it out of the park. Bisch? Let's go with that. This one is just a beautiful fragrance that really, really works for me. My favorite of the Marlys, and I would probably say my favorite Quentin Bisch fragrance. Obviously, this was a very small selection of all the fragrances Quentin Bisch has created. He is an incredibly prolific perfumer. So many releases out there from designer and niche. So some of his fragrances I don't own, and that's where I'd like to hear from you. Which are your favorite Quentin Bisch fragrances? You can go designer, you can go niche, you can choose one designer, one niche, whatever. But I would like to hear which are your favorites, so if I've not smelled them, I can go and check them out. But really, this video was a little tribute to Quentin Bisch because he has given us some incredible fragrances. It definitely wasn't a video idea that evolved from a bad pun. That might be a lie. I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you do all that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.